know,
see you.
we're like up
Yeah,
against
a
a
little
very.
bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
If you're gonna be like 4%, like.
How are things going? Woo, awesome, right on.
I don't want to do land.
Good
so.
morning, Keller Williams. Hey, we got an audience today. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
How are we doing out there? How are we doing in here?
Fabulous.
There we go. Let's get a little energy going. And just, how are we doing out there? Kristen Connor, how are we doing? Do a thumbs up. Awesome, awesome. All right, well, let's do this. Let's start with attitude for gratitude. And for me, the gratitude goes to Dave Jenks. So yesterday, for those of you who were able to join us, and we recorded it, Dave Jenks is the gentleman who wrote these bestsellers.
No way.
Co-wrote with Mr. Gary Keller and Jay Papazen, right? So how many of us, and if you can, take yourself off of video so we can see your smiling faces, how many of us were on the call yesterday? Awesome, we got a few in here. How many were on the call? Yeah? Awesome. So we're going to talk about this a little bit later on in the meeting and dive in and say, you know, what did you take out of this? So my gratitude, starting off, Dave Jenks. Amazing, 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 right? Wasn't that awesome?
Best $500 we ever spent.
Oh my goodness, I would pay triple that.
Yeah.
All day long. So, and I'm going to pivot a lot like this. So now we have an audience. What are some other attitude for gratitude? And I'm happy Jamie Goldman is in the house. Welcome back from Florida. So, what's a little attitude for gratitude? We can start in here and pop there. We can do all kinds of stuff.
Where are they? Jump in.
I have one.
Yes.
I have a closing on money that is one of my personal properties, so I'm happy about that.
Good job. That's awesome. Love that.
Yes.
Love that. We'll take it away with that one. What's another one? Attitude for gratitude.
We have some newer agents in the room that have jumped into listing contract, and they jump in the deep end of the pool. No floaties even. They're all amazing.
Love it.
So, and the dude in the back corner back here moved in this week.
That Henry Russell guy did?
Yeah.
Right on.
He actually exists.
He exists, right? Awesome. Fantastic. What's one more? Attitude for gratitude. Dun, dun, dun. One more.
I've got one.
Yes.
Dave Jenks yesterday. His
Yeah.
authenticity was just amazing.
It was awesome, right? Well, very good. We're going to jump into upcoming listings. So, who's got a listing out there? Listing. Upcoming listings. Jamie does. Wow, Jamie. You've been back for 48 hours.
Yes. So I have a listing coming up in the Village of Castle Pines. It's a 5-bed, 5-bath, 4,700 square feet, finished basement, top of the line finishes. It's stunning. Amenities for the neighborhood are awesome. 3 pools, fitness center, the whole 9 yards. And it'll be listed, showing start this Friday, and it's $949.
$949. Awesome. Great price. Fantastic. All right, so let's get some people in to see Jamie over there. Great listing. What's another? Upcoming listings.
I have one, Patrick.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a listing in Fort Collins. It's a great situation for an investor or someone that's thinking, you know, if their kid's going to school up there, it's great. My boys both live there, and I rented that out for several years, so it's a good property that way. Price will be $350 and listed. It's going to be active the second week of August, probably.
Wow.
As soon as I get that kid out of there and get it ready to go. So.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Right in time for school.
You
Love
should
it.
tell people who you are, because when we're in the room, our name does not appear below
All
our
right,
face.
I am Leslie Porter of Porter Properties.
There you go.
There we go.
Yes.
Game on.
That's right.
Awesome. About another upcoming listing. If you're off of video and raising your hand, I can't see you. Upcoming listings. Dun, dun, dun. All right, how about price improvements? Do we have any price improvements?
Kristen's got one.
Kristen.
I do. My listing in Albert on the 35 acres, it's reduced to $1,365,000. And it's got a massive, massive barn and shop with an in-law suite in there as well, with kitchen, washer and dryer, all that fun stuff.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great job on that. Other price improvements, Jeopardy music. All right, how about buyer needs? Doug Austin.
I've got a need to get something that's not on the market yet for a buyer that's at the 375, kind of tops out, need a house. This southwest side of the city, they're willing to look at Lakewood now, and even, Denver, Harvard Park, but it's just competitive as can be, and we keep getting beat out. And these guys are adopting their 4th child, so I want to get them into a house.
Wow, there's a
I may
big
know
one.
something, maybe.
Thank you. Okay.
Awesome, Madison.
I mean, it's not, we'll talk later.
Okay. Thanks.
See what happens when you come into the office, starts going like this, right?
Yeah.
2 tables apart. Love it. All right, what's another buyer need?
I'm on
Yes.
the- go ahead.
I've got one looking in Highlands Ranch, up to 600. They need a bigger backyard. They have some big dogs. And then they're hoping for a ranch if at all possible. But they'll consider a 2-story. 3 bedrooms or more, 2 bathrooms or more. But the big backyard is the biggest thing out of all of it, up to 600.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Madison.
I'm actually looking for myself. Yay!
Hey, there we go.
1.5. So yeah, somewhere 450-ish, as low maintenance as possible. Townhouse, something in this area, Parker, Lakewood would be okay as well. So somewhere in that area, they'll have
Fantastic.
something.
All right, let's help you out. Awesome. All right, other buyer needs. Okay, let's keep on going. So I know that our good friend Henry and I were chatting a little bit earlier, and let's get started with a mortgage minute and have you come off, Henry. Let's give Henry a round of applause. We got some energy going on here.
Well, thank you, appreciate it. All right, let's see. I want to make sure everyone can see me. So should I face this way or should I face this way?
That way.
I feel like I should face this way.
Well, turn around. So we
Turn around,
can see
okay.
it on too.
All right, here we go. All right. So my name is Henry Russell. I'm with Movement Mortgage, and I am now in the office, the 4th office on the right, prime real estate. So everyone that comes in will probably pass by my office. I'll probably be in there just hunting and pecking on my little keyboard, but please stop by anytime, knock on the door, not tap on the glass. Just don't feed me too often, okay? So just be worried about that. So I want to do a quick mortgage minute here for you. A couple of things that you should know about that's going on in the market right now. Those of you that do first-time home buyers that utilize the CHAFA program a lot, CHAFA changed one of their guidelines. They're now requiring a 640 FICO score for anyone that's going to go over 50% DTI. Does anybody know what DTI stands for?
Debt to income.
Debt to income, right? So that's whatever their income is divided by what their debts are. So if they go above half of what we can claim, then they only need a 640. Before it was 620. So anyone that's under 50%, it's still 620. So that could be something that could affect a client that you have. If you have a first-time home buyer that's utilizing the CHAFA program, please make sure that you check with your mortgage professional on that. Another quick thing for you. I'm looking at your pad now instead of my pad.
Watch out, my notes are a
We're
little
going to talk
wild.
about meditating. No.
Right.
Another quick thing I want to kind of go over is our FICO drop, okay? So for FHA, VA, and USDA, if you had clients that they told you, oh my goodness, my FICO is so low that my lender said I couldn't do it, I want you to know that we now have a new FICO drop to 580. So we can get someone approved with a 580 FICO score for VA, FHA, or USDA.
Oh, that's
Most
awesome.
people with the 580 FICO score, they're probably going to go FHA anyway, just because we need that flexibility in the amount of or debts that they can have. So if you have clients that are in your pipeline that may have fallen out because of the FICO score, that's a really good way for you to get them back in. Not all lenders are doing that right now, so check with your lender that you're utilizing, or you can come see me. I'm in the 4th office on the right. And then last but not least, I want to finish with something good for all of you, or 2 things that are good for you. Number 1, on our jumbo loans right now, those of you, I heard you're 979 or
949.
949. The jumbo rates right now for my company, we've actually bought internally an investor, and I priced one out yesterday at 3.5%. on a 30-year fix on a jumbo loan
Whoa.
for 1.2 million. Which I never thought I'd ever say that.
That's
Can we
amazing.
say it again?
Okay, I'm gonna say it again.
Let me get my recorder out.
All right, let me talk into my jacket now. 1.2 million jumbo loan, 3.562, 30-year fixed.
And what do they put
Amazing.
down?
I'm sorry.
How much do they put down?
It's a refinance that we're doing for them, so they're under 80%. But if you put down 20%, you're going to get that same rate. So in most jumbo deals, you're putting down 20% anyway. So one thing you have to remember on jumbo, we do want to see 12 months of assets somewhere. It can be a 401k, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, all the fun stuff that's out there. Last but not least, at the end of this month, on the 30th, I'd like everyone to mark their calendar. I'd like to do a grand opening to kind of introduce you all to who I am, what I do, tell you a little bit about my backstory and all that fun stuff. We're going to do it here on the premises, and we're going to bring in some cocktails that may or may not be adult appropriate, just so you know, okay? We'll see what happens with that. And we'll be
I love
doing
the
that.
glances over at Debbie here.
We'll see how that all works out. But love to have you all come out. That'll be from 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. on July 30th. We'd love to have you all come, and all of you that are on the television screen. All right. So thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, question, Henry, before you go anywhere, this is going to segue into our next conversation.
Okay.
What are you seeing in the market right now? As a lender, as someone who has their pulse on the market, month of July, what are you seeing?
I am seeing multiple contracts on every single thing that is out there. Every one of my borrowers is battling 3 to 4 people every single time we submit a contract. As a matter of fact, I have probably submitted more pre-approvals in this month to real estate agents in the sense of, I need another one. I need one higher. I need one higher. I need one higher. So I am starting to see that. So one of the things that will help your lender out a lot is if you gave us a range of what you're going to do from the very beginning, we could probably push you out a couple of pre-approval letters. Now I'm lucky. I have an app on my phone. I can push you out a pre-approval while I'm at a stoplight. I've done it many times. So just so you know, if you do need one, we can get one pushed out pretty quickly for you. But it would be beneficial in the sense of if you're battling other agents, one of the things that I've seen that has worked a lot is we can close in 21 days. So a lot of my agents are now putting on there, we'll do a quick close in 21 days. And that has beat out some of the other agents that had the same amount as far as the loan amount. So one of the little leverage tools that they're utilizing to win contracts.
So question for you, when you're saying that agents are coming to you and they're looking at pre-approval after pre-approval, different price changes, are we
Right.
talking different, is the overall different properties or same property and just going back to back?
Right. So same property, and they start on Friday, and by Sunday I've sent 4 different pre-approval letters because it's escalated, and they don't want to put on there obviously what the top is, so they're trying to send it over right at the right amount and everything. But we are seeing a lot more pre-approval letters. We are seeing a lot more contracts. I mean, just real battles right now. And it's funny because I hear some people say there's no business out there. Then I hear people say, "Oh my God, I'm so busy." And it's from my seat right now, it is super busy. We're looking at 3 to 4 submissions per contract that I've seen thus far.
So before I let you go, I'm just gonna hold on to you up here. So what are you all seeing out there, right? When you look at the market, you look at the month of July, what are you seeing out there? I know we have a mixed room too. So, I mean, are you seeing the same things? Are you seeing those conversations going on? When you're talking with your clients, are you having those conversations? Or are you seeing something totally different?
I'm seeing the same thing. I got 3 buyers, and some of it's limited inventory, which is not what's hitting what they want. And then this young couple that we competed with 5 the other day, and the other 4 were cash.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cash.
The
lot of
investors,
cash.
So
it seems
there's a
like
lot
the
of cash
investors,
Right.
it depends on the price point.
It does. Tell me more about that.
Well, that sweet spot, anything below 500, it's gonna be multiple offers, it's gonna go really, really fast. Anything above 500, it's gonna sit there for at least a day or 2, which, used to be that was quick, but, now I'm seeing same day stuff flying. Because I'm not in that sweet spot that I wanna be in, the 850 above, I'm still down here. And so the under 500s, they're just flying off the shelf. And so I'm telling my buyers, you've got to be ready. you've gotta have that pre-approval letter, you cannot come into this saying, well, let's think about it.
Right.
Because if you want it, if you think about it, you're not gonna sleep in it.
Yep. Love that. Thank you, Stephanie.
And that $500 or $500,000 mark is because we're at 510 for conforming limit amount. So everyone can get to 510. So that's why 510 and under is so competitive. Once you go over 510, now you get to a completely different borrower because they've got to have more things. They've got to have more money down. They don't qualify for CHAFA anymore. So there's a lot of things that go into that 510 marker that you're talking about from the lender side as to why it's so much more competitive underneath 510 right now, because they can do CHAFA all day with that. And CHAFA just increased their income limits, meaning now you can make up to $128,000 a year and still get a CHAFA loan, which kind of blows my mind.
Wow.
Because that's supposed to be for first-time home buyers. I don't know about you, but I didn't make $128,000 when I was 20s. So, you know, it was just kind of one of those things that now they had to do that because obviously in the Denver metro area, you know, our median house point is so much higher. So obviously we had to raise our median income. So Fannie, Freddie, FHA, and CHAFA have all raised their income limits. June 22nd, that went into effect. If you want to know specific counties, please send me an email, and I'm more than happy to send you that information. I can give you every single county and what that new limit is.
Perfect. Love it.
All right,
Love
we're
it.
good?
Yep, we're good.
All
I'll
right.
let you go. All right, awesome. Thank you,
Thanks,
Devin.
guys. Appreciate it.
So, Deb, jump on up here with me, please. Let's have some fun. So, you know, and I think that's really interesting because if we can narrow down the price point that we're talking about, we're saying 500,000 is the one that moves really fast. And a conversation that I've had quite a bit in coaching has been, what's my 30-day business look like? Not my 60, not my 90, not my 180. What's my immediate right now? So if I know that 500,000 or 510, as Henry was saying, is what's moving, who in my pipeline can I contact around $500,000 listings? What if I was to build a 2-week inventory on $500,000? Right? That's not too bad of a commission on that too, by the way.
Pretty decent.
Pretty decent. I mean, I come from the world of 275 as the average price point. So 500, right? Madison, right? 500,000, we're doing cartwheels and dances, right? So who, I might do it anyways, but you know, so who do we know though that's out there that we could call? And can we work through our database in order to do that, right? The reason, Deb, I wanted you to jump up is to chat a little bit about Coaching Corner, Dave Jenks.
Yeah.
And what were some, and this is a live question for everyone online and physically here, what were some ahas that you had from yesterday? Because, oh my goodness, were there nuggets being dropped or?
Oh, right, Labidi always does, right? He talking about coming from contribution, that dude like invented it.
Yeah.
So I'm with Brooksy. I think his authenticity over, you know, sharing his story and where he came from and how to be an authentic agent with your client. You don't tell them your entire life story, but how to be an authentic agent.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the nuggets that he was just dropping around, you know, what are those first few questions you ask when you walk in to do a listing presentation? You know, did you write those down? And if I'd known you were going to ask me, I would have brought that list. But those first few questions, and you may not even have to get totally deep into the listing consultation.
Isn't that wild? So if you can
Yeah.
ask 3 specific questions, one, you just narrowed your time from an hour listing appointment to possibly 20 minutes.
Yep. If you have a really good pre-listing packet, that may have done all the heavy lifting for you ahead of time, and then asking those questions right then and there, and they're like, no, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What did you all get out of it? And don't worry, we recorded it. So for those who didn't get a chance to watch it, don't worry, it's on there and recorded. But what did you get out of it?
He was talking about what to do right now.
Huh. Okay,
Protect
Patrick.
your energy, your
Yeah,
environment, and also relationships.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Brooke, what was something that you had pulled out of it?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna use his theory of threes and just like list 3 snippets that I really identified with. Your future is not determined by where you are or where you've been, but your intentions. I love he doesn't consider command the CRM, he considers it the RDS, Relationship Development System. That was awesome for me. Plus that little nugget about record, like after you meet with someone, record a little snippet about what you've learned and then get it into command. And then the third one was, I want to not just list your home, but I want your home to be in the market. So not just on the market, but in the market.
In the market. Interesting. Yeah, there's a couple nuggets within that too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why did he say do that video snippet right after? 3-minute recap.
So you remember, and so you, what is it? Connect. I'm blanking, but it doesn't matter. But like the capturing portion of it.
Right.
You need to capture that relationship that you just established.
Absolutely.
Is that something just for yourself or you're sending that to them? Like a-
No,
For
it's
myself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in your notes section, right?
Right,
So, I mean, when you call somebody later and you remember the name of their dog or their kids, they're like, wow, how did you, whoa, you remember that?
Right.
Really listen to me.
Yeah, you really listened to me.
Exactly. And if we're really listening, if someone feels that we're really listening, how does it make that person feel?
Yeah.
Right?
Cared about.
Valued, cared about, absolutely. And we work with who we care about, right? And those who care about us work with us too. It's an alignment of values. So I love that. In fact, there was some notes that I have on here. The magic of 3. 3 things to protect, 3 things to focus. You know, the one on the capture note too, Brooke, one of the things that I had written down here was, after that 3-minute recap, when your follow-up call, now you can dive into the actual details of the conversation and space repetition. So as we begin to do this over and over, we naturally remember, right? So because of that, it creates a much higher relationship and referral relationship, which, by the way, the referral relationship is what insulates you on market shifts, 1,000%. It's the referrals. So now you can sprinkle in leads and all those other parts. When you look at top performers, if you really dive into what Dave said yesterday, he was talking about the power of relationships, right? And then the power of models and systems that back up those relationships. 3 attitudes of top producers. You know, the intention, the optimism, and the persistence. You know what I thought was awesome? What I thought was awesome? Let fear be your compass. That gave me goosebumps. I was like, oh, that's powerful. And do what you fear. Just go do it. Knock it out, right? Once you do what you fear, you've mastered the fear. And that was a big conversation that Dave was saying yesterday, was around the compass. So I'm going to write that up. You know, so here's my question, right?
You got some more comments?
Awesome. Do we got some more comments going on?
You're all muted.
Let me know, because I
Unmute.
can't see you and swivel. So what were some ahas that you had, you know, for those of us joining online on Zoom, what were some ahas that you had from yesterday? We've talked about letting, you know, the power of 3s, the magic of 3s, let fear be your compass. What were some other things you pulled out of yesterday?
I shared it in the chat, but a big one was, until you master your presentation, you won't have the confidence to prospect.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's in the notes, and I'm glad you grabbed it and ran with it, Andrea, so thank you. So now, what do you do with this? Right? We have arguably one of the top authors and national bestsellers that some has gone for 30 years, right? Yeah. 30 years, right? He's got 40 years in the business. He dropped nuggets like it was hailing yesterday. It was literally hailing in my office. What do we do? What are you going to do with it? What's our action plan?
Jump in, somebody online. Zoom in, you zoomies.
Zoomies, huh?
Zoomies.
So there's my question. All the education in the world, $1 million bookshelf. What are you going to do
Today.
today? So while we're being shy online, since y'all are right here in front of me, what are we gonna do? What's your plan?
You take in a bunch of information and you don't use it, you get constipation.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Doug Austin is in the house. So probably not gonna dive down that road too much, but what are we going to do, right?
I can speak again.
Yeah,
So, and just because I'm new and I'm working on my listing presentation, so one practice, send Debbie practice contracts, keep rehearsing my listing presentation, and then once I have my buyer's presentation completed, keep on keeping on doing that. And then I loved his like being more optimistic and changing your mindset around that and bringing that optimism into your life. So that's one more thing I'm gonna work on.
Okay, so the optimism too, so the mindset.
Changes your energy
Yeah.
Yep.
and what you exude, right?
Yep.
So energy is gonna attract that like energy. Yeah.
I think that kind of touched on the confidence piece. There are parts of my business that I just don't feel I do as well as other things. So it's time for me to get some joy and some energy around those things that I don't really like to do, and figure out, am I going to give those tasks to other people? Can they help me do that? Or am I gonna just buckle down and say, I need to learn how to do this better and take the classes and get engaged so that I feel confident in all aspects of my business.
Well said. Great job. No, I love that. And what I love about that too is the tie-in between the confidence and the leverage. Knowing what we should be doing, could be doing, need to be doing.
Right.
Knowing what we're choosing not to, right? So we talked about, yeah.
So there's some other comments. It says, so Chris said, learn how to ask for business and not be attached to the answer.
That's good.
Andrea says, practice, rehearse, etc. A lot of it, etc. Greg Goddard says, as a new agent to KW, plugging into the energy center was huge for me. We take that for granted because we're used to being here, right? And somebody walks in and they've never been exposed to that. And it's a big deal for them.
It's a really big deal.
It's a big, big deal. It's called culture.
Huh.
And then
Imagine.
it says, do the 3 things he discussed. Do the business that's available, lead gen, and continue to learn and develop your skills. That's a daily thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not doing, this is what all the Ignite people are doing today, is they commit to doing a listing or buyer consultation every day. If it's not with a real appointment, it's with someone else. So who are you gonna do that? So are you gonna commit to do that every day? Was it you that said you watched a video with somebody, I forget who it was, Jeff Glover,
Yeah.
that wrote it all out?
Chef's sauce.
Wrote it out every day for 30 days. You think he knew his listing presentation?
That's a
His
really
buyer
good idea.
consultation?
That's a really good idea. Because once you've written it out,
Right.
it just connects the mind and the body thing, and it will definitely help you learn it better. Writing it out and then saying it, even if it's a fictitious person sitting in the chair, just saying it out
Saying
loud, because it sounds different out loud than it does in your head.
Right.
Yes.
And
Take that one step forward, one step further. What if we recorded it,
right, exactly.
right? I mean, what if we recorded how we sound on the phone, how we're having our presentations? Hey, Mr. Seller, would you mind if I recorded this presentation? I'm constantly striving to be better, right? They love hearing that, by the way. Love it. Success formula, which is awesome, Leslie, that you brought that up, because one of the things that Dave talked about yesterday is if you have a written plan, is 10% of these, this is according to Gary Keller, 10%, right, of the success formula is a written plan. Written goals first, sorry, written goal. Used to have them. It's awesome. All right, written plan is another 10%. So that gives 20%. What about the other 80%? Say that again?
Accountability.
Accountability. Why, Patrick? Why is that powerful? You have a plan, you wrote your goals, Why is the accountability part important?
It makes you do what you said you're going to do.
Okay, so an integrity piece, right? In fact, what Gary Keller says is the accountability piece is 80%, which you're absolutely correct, and Leslie, you're correct. So while we're mastering our presentations, while we're mastering our listing presentation, buyer consultation, who are we sharing it with? Do we have a coach, right? Are we turning that into our coach? You know, Deb, for your coaching program you have, are our agents turning in their written goals, their written plan, and an accountability on a daily basis? If you were to write your listing presentation one time per day for 30 days, who are you sharing it with?
They share it with each other and they call each other out. So it's been you put it on Facebook and it's there by 7 o'clock, or they start calling each other out, and they've given each other permission to do that. So they call each other out, and they also not only do that, but they help each other. Yeah. And nobody had to do dance to I'm a Little Teapot at team meeting today because everybody got their stuff.
Is that what was gonna happen?
Yeah.
Jamie, were you in charge of that one?
No. But it's a daily thing, and it's a commitment back to yourself as well as the other people to help everybody get better. Because when we're all better, because the chance of you doing business with each other is huge, right? And so don't you want a stellar agent on the other side as well? And it increases everything in this office. It increases the professional level of the entire industry, just this office.
You know, I had a powerful conversation last night with one of our agents, one of our top agents. And they'll remain nameless, and we were talking about, we actually were talking about Bold Pivot. And the conversation had started to turn into, what if it was just all about the other person? What if it was just all about this, right? Now it's no longer what we're pulling out of it, what we're taking apart, all these pieces. We're diving and committing to someone else. So if I'm Patrick is Patrick's accountability partner, I'm committing to Patrick and his family. Because the minute that I stopped, I gave up on him. Yeah. And that's not fair on any level, right? So if you look at this, and I would engage and request, I would request from you that you do this with one of your fellow agents, or maybe even who are some contacts that you have that you could build a referral program out of that are outside of Denver that you could use as accountability partners, right? Like Jamie, you were just down in Florida. There could be someone great down there that you could tie in, and you could build out a whole leg of your business on referrals, which, by the way, is part of the secret recipe in shifting markets. How do you leverage through your business, not around it, right? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Chime in, Zoomies.
Chime in. Let's do it. Otherwise, I get to call on everyone. Seamus, what are your thoughts?
Mr. Bold.
Sorry, I'm replying to an email right now.
I thought you were just thinking very intently about what you were going to say. So, what are our thoughts, or is it just crickets, right? So 10% written goal, 10% written plan, 80% accountability, taking what you did from yesterday and putting it into implementation, right? So how many of us are willing to text each other by the end of today, pick an accountability partner, text each other by the end of today and say, this is what my plan is to take advantage of yesterday's opportunity? How many of us are willing to commit to that? Kristen is, awesome. Josh, you and your little girl are both ready to rock and roll. I love it. She raised her hand. She's ready. We're getting shown up by the little miss here. So how many of us in the room are going to do that, right? I'll work on Jamie.
Yeah. I mean, I would even say, if it's just two people, it's easy to let the other person whinny out and not call it in. The power is in the numbers.
Yeah.
So the power is in the numbers. So I think that's why it works so well. I know that's why it works so well with our PC agents, is because they do it as a group.
Mm-hmm.
They practice as a group, they call each other out as a group and they help each other out as a group. So if it's just one person, I can go, oh, Patrick's not paying attention anyway, so I'll slide today. So I slid on mine and he slid on his and nobody else noticed. Just saying.
I love it. I love it. You know, it's great because, and I want to dive into this a little bit because I think this is truly powerful. You know, most real estate offices across the board think that when they're growing an office to create retention in an office, it's the production that's going to lead to culture. Jamie, is that right?
That is not right.
Tell me what's right, Jamie, because
It is the culture that drives the production.
why is that?
Because it's having support from leadership, from other agents, the accountability, keeping everyone in the same mindset, a positive mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that drives people to focus more on their business and stay tuned in and engaged, and that drives the business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Because that's, I mean, really, and
Star.
absolutely. You know, when notes upon notes, right? The key thing here is that we are one unit, we are one group. So by doing so, by having these opportunities, Dave Jenks is not going to be the only opportunity, by the way. We're putting together a powerful schedule so that we have folks coming in both local and out of Denver to create more opportunities so that we can see this from a different perspective. Plus, then we can know how do we act. You know, I keep picking on Jamie because she's in our room and just came in from Florida. Florida was a little different than Colorado, wasn't it?
From which perspective?
From like safety, COVID, all that stuff. Like, so what did you see? Because, well, and let's open that up a little bit because what did we see in other markets is what my point is, right? So I know that you were there for personal, yet at the same time, I know you and you, I'm sure we're seeing what was going on around you, you know, in the market. What did you see in Florida?
You know, I didn't spend that much time focusing on the market, to be honest.
Of course.
But they're having another downfall there, and like they're starting to close things up again, which then causes, you know, the KW office is right near my sister's house I wanted to go into, close. So they're kind of on a downfall there right now.
So could that create referral opportunities? You know, if your market suddenly changes and you go from being able to host open houses, we remember these days, right? Host open houses, do pop-bys, do client events, do all these things that we had put in part of our business on the foundational purpose, that changes overnight. We're not alone on this, right, at all. So if that changes overnight, could that create referral opportunities, right? If we can't leave our house, but we can have powerful relationships with agents all around the country, and all it takes is a phone call or a little message on Facebook, like my crazy fingers. So a little message on Facebook, could that create an opportunity to have an entire leg of our business?
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
So not even trying to look for immediate business. I mean, I was down there for totally other reasons, but just having conversations. I have an agent in the Miami area and an agent in the Tampa area that I have a referral relationship with. And just reaching out to them to ask the question, how are you? How's your family? And how's your business looking these days? And regardless of their answers, it's still just a touch. It's just staying in touch with them and showing that you care. You're just coming from contributions. So it's just showing that you care about them as people. Forget the business. You can take the business off the table for now. But down the line, if something comes up for Denver, they'll think of me because they stayed in touch and I care about them and their family and their business.
It's authentic.
It's a forward conversation.
Yeah.
It's just a conversation, and it's for family, occupation, recreation, or dreams, right? It's those four things that you naturally do those anyway. You pick up the phone and say, hey, you know, Jenny Lee, how are you today? How was your vacation? You naturally do it anyway. So why not do it, be a little more purposeful? I've been talking all morning.
Show some of my quad shot.
Probably way to shoot. Be a little more purposeful and ask those questions and then listen for life changes and opportunities where you can step up and help somebody out, right?
I'm finding that people think that maybe they didn't take advantage of the stay-at-home time the reality is this is continuing. People, I was in Arkansas with my family. I was able to get out of town for the 4th of July and spend a week with my daughter and her kids. And, you know, they're depressed at this point. I mean, this is like, it's this never ending thing. So you haven't missed the boat if you didn't call your people in April. You need to get, you know, yes, it's lead gen, but it's really a care call. You just want to say, you know, I'm here, you know, how are you guys doing? Is there anything that I can do for you, real estate or no, you know, just letting them know you're still there. And that will generate business for sure. And just, you know, love all around, right?
That's right.
Right. Well, how do you feel when you make one of those calls?
Well, gosh, I'm finding I have a lot of, I'm in a widows group, and those women are hurting. I mean, they can't, their main thing is, you know, they go to church is like their big thing to do, and they can't go to church, they can't have lunch with their friends, they're stuck in their homes, and most of them are elderly, and, you know, they need that call. So, you know, it's my obligation to reach out to those ladies. Yeah, I'm still here, you know, how you doing? And they need it.
Yeah. So that kind of could even help us with mindset, right?
Absolutely.
And being able to have mindset and have a positive mindset, have that optimism going forward, that you can say, hey, you know what? I'm here and I care.
Right.
Being authentic.
Right.
So I'm here and I care. No one says no to that, ever. And you don't feel salesy. You don't feel like that.
Right.
And it creates opportunity after opportunity. You know, tying into the relationships we were talking about, those that we call and reach out to over the last 90 days. The relationships that you are in, so many thoughts in my head right now. The relationships that you nurture during times of crisis are the ones that can be held for generations. They're the ones that they never, ever, ever forget you, ever. The relationships that we choose not to nurture, someone else may come in and nurture. That's our choice. But knowing that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you have design, and this is a live thing for everyone, right? If you want to build up an insulated business that's shift proof, build it around referrals, sprinkle the leads on top, but build it around referrals and powerful relationships, personal relationships, business relationships, all the way across, because that is what's going to carry your business, not just in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2025. That's the difference. That's one of the secret recipes of success in market shifts is relationships and having that insulation. Doug, I want to make sure that I have a moment here to jump in on Big Y and chat about that. Before we do, Deb, do we have any broker?
Chris asked a question up here that she was wondering what everybody's doing about open houses again. And you are allowed at this point to do open houses. Guess what? Shock of all shocks, there are COVID restrictions around it.
No, there's not.
COVID restriction, and it's fairly lengthy. So it's fairly lengthy. So yes, you can do them carefully and have good conversation with your sellers around that, and then follow those directions, because there's a Gladys Kravitz in every neighborhood that will turn your little happy self in.
Right.
So yeah, be careful. And they are levying fines against this. So the Marcia Waters, who is over the real estate commission, is the person that these complaints go to, and she is the one that vets them and makes the phone calls. Not only to you, but also then to me, and then it, you know, second and third offenses start getting expensive.
Where can we find those specific rules for open houses?
Amber put them out. So they're in our daily email. Amber put them out, and I'll ask her to send those out again, maybe with the recording, so you guys can find them again. They're in the Facebook. We put them in our Facebook file section as well. So just be careful doing it. Just because you can doesn't maybe not necessarily mean that you should.
Right.
So be careful.
Risk analysis.
Caution, right? Use caution.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we do have Mr. Doug Osnes in the house here. So Doug, you want to come up for just a couple minutes and talk to us about some coaching tips here? And we have a class coming up, don't we?
We do. So write this down so you can keep track of this. Thank you. August 13th, 12:30 to 4:30, right here in the office. If you're interested in this, August 13th, 12:30 to 4:30. All the stuff we're talking about today with Dave Jenks, which in a moment I'm going to quote him, by the way, something that wasn't shared, is a very simple, powerful, easy, painless process you can go through to actually start to implement all this stuff. Because again, if you got all this knowledge, but you don't have something that drives you to implement it, it just ain't happening. Trust me, I've known Keller Williams since 2006. I've implemented this stuff. By the way, this is the Millionaire Real Estate Investor book. Study it, learn it, get this stuff. So remember that August 13th, right here in the office, we're gonna be able to take the first, is that me? We're gonna be able to take the first 25-ish and can be in here live, and the others can be online if you want to. So here's a question I have for you. That is me, isn't it? Doggone it. Sorry.
Mo's calling.
Mo's calling, yeah, or Gary. Who would you be if you were able to eliminate that one thing that keeps getting in the way? We could title a book, wouldn't it? One thing. Who would you be if you could eliminate that one thing that keeps getting in the way? And it just popped into your head. You know what it is. Trust yourself, trust your unconscious mind, trust your gut. It keeps popping up in your life, in your business, in your past career. It just keeps coming up over and over again. Who would you be if you could eliminate that one thing? People come to Glenda and I for coaching for one of two reasons. They've got something they can't get rid of and they want help because they're stuck. Or they got something they want that they can't get to because they're stuck. And it's typically because of that one thing that keeps getting in the way over and over and over again. We're coaching two couples who are starting a international cybersecurity business. We've coached with all of them individually recently. And one of them is a retired rear admiral in the Navy, 32 years, nuclear submarine commander at the end of his career. Guess what? He had stuff he was stuck on. And he had to be guided and directed, get some outside eyes. He went back and he fixed it, and it's just launched him forward in a whole new way that's just shocked the heck out of him. So all of us have that. So are you getting the help to get through and get breakthrough? And it takes outside eyes to do that. One of the reasons is we all have a strategy for how we do everything. Different strategy. You have a strategy for depression if you've been through depression. So if you can understand what your strategy is, you can break the strategy and you can put in successful strategies to help you achieve more. So one of the things we're going to do at this seminar on August 13th is I'm going to lay out the 7-step process to become a millionaire. It's a strategy. And you got to be aware of the key pieces in order to make it happen. So who could you be if you were to break through that point? Could you become, instead of just a realtor, could you become a real estate business owner? It's one of the teachings of Keller Williams. And could you become a real estate millionaire, real estate investor in the long haul? I've gone on that journey. My first rental property was a $57,000 studio condo. Today I own 15 homes. But it wasn't, I had to be intentional. I had to do some stuff to make it happen. Part of that journey was the Millionaire Real Estate Investor book, learning this and absorbing this. On page 80 in this book, which by the way, the co-author of this happens to be a guy named Dave Jenks. Here's what they say. High achievers, millionaire real estate investors are powered by a big why. Striving to be your very best will have you following in their footsteps on the path to big success. A big why can redefine your life in ways you might not have imagined. But to qualify as a big why, your motivation should move you from, here's the important point, should move you from thinking in terms of electives to acting in terms of imperatives. What I mean is you stop thinking of success as something you want to achieve, and you start feeling that it's something you need to, and in fact, have to achieve. Life is very different when you move from want-tos to have-tos, and a truly significant big why causes you to make that transition. So as far as I know, and I don't know everything that's out there, but I have the only tool that helps you to get a clear, compelling big why for your life in 3 words or less. The only tool that exists. Because I happen to know that Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, his mentees, he requires that they figure out their big why in 3 words or less, or he won't help them. And one of his mentees came to us, a partner of mine in town that I work with in coaching, and said, Mr. Buffett just fired me recently because I don't have a big why. He said, Well, he says, if you don't know your purpose in 3 words or less, I can't help you anymore. We helped him. Mr. Buffett took him back as a mentee. The guy's worth $100 million. So I have implemented all these tools. I've built teams. I built a successful real estate business in a recession when my average sales, in the past recession, my average sales price was $210,000. My team and I did $17 million that year. From zero, when I got back into the business at the beginning of the recession, to doing that in 4 years' time. So you can learn it the hard way, or you can let me help you. I learned it through trial and error, but we can help you out. But who would you be if you got rid of that one thing that keeps getting in the way? For me, believe it or not, was actually a belief that I wasn't good enough to become a millionaire. I wasn't good enough to be successful. I had a lack and a poverty mindset. And the key to breaking it for me, I'm gonna tell you the foundation of all this stuff. You wanna learn how to do all this stuff is great. All stuff Dave Jenks is true. All stuff Gary teaches is true. But both of them say it doesn't get there if it doesn't start with a real, clear, compelling big why for your life. Mine happens to be inspiring, radical transformation. And I hope I've inspired you today to consider coming August 13th, 12:30 to 4:30. You can go to our website, imillionairementor.com. The registration's on there. You can be one of the ones to come to the room. The best part is live versus online, although online would be good as well. But check out that website. And Patrick and I'll be sending out some stuff with some more information. And you'll even get a little testimonial from that Rear Admiral.
What is
Awesome.
it? iMillionaire what?
imillionairementor.com. Thank you.
Awesome.
imillionairementor.com.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, thank you. All right, so we do have some classes coming up that tie into business for immediate business. We have tomorrow from 12 to 1, I'll be hosting a series that's called What's Next? And the beginning of the series is going to be around leads. So we're going to talk about cold leads, warm leads, hot leads, database, online, the how-to, and we'll have one of our very own agents who's a top producer on the call as well to talk about what he or she, I'm not going to give it away yet, he or she is doing at a very high level and at a low cost to build up their online leads and sprinkle that on top of their database. So that'll be tomorrow from 12 to 1. Next week, keep an eye on the daily emails because next week we have 2 more classes on the What's Next series that will go into listings and then we'll go into leverage. So that'll be Tuesday and Thursday. I want to say that's 12 to 1 as well, but double check. And Bold Pivot. Who likes free?
Yeah.
If it's free, it's for me, right? Who likes free? Come on. Let me see the hands. There we go. All right. So we have an offer for Bold Pivot to be able to take Bold Pivot for free. For free. There is an accountability factor with this because we know that the formula for success is written goals 10%, written plan 10%, accountability 80%. So there's an accountability factor with this, right, Deb? Why should someone take Bold Pivot? Why do you think they should take Bold Pivot?
Help change your mindset, help build your business, and I mean, start building on your big why, right?
So wait, Deb, I took it in May. Why should I take it again?
Because they change all the time, they evolve. So that first Bold Pivot, they pivoted really fast because of COVID, and that got put together really, really fast, and they learned a lot. And it gets better every single time.
So next week, or definitely at Jake's Take this week, don't miss those, by the way. Jake is going to be talking about Bold Pivot as well and why it's important. Why he's putting down a financial investment so everyone can go for free. Our goal is to have 45 of our agents, our agent family in Bold Pivot because we know what it can do. Last time there was 41,000 agents across the entire country, across the globe actually. We had Mexico, there was Portugal, there's all kinds of comments coming in all over the place. So it could be an opportunity to build out these referrals we've been talking about as well. What we also know is Bold Pivot, and I may have my numbers off a little bit on this, but when you look at Command and the technology and the campaigns that came out of Bold Pivot were up by 146%. The campaign is going to be one of the ways, and correct me if I'm wrong for those of us who are on there, Seamus, Kristen, I don't see William on there. With the campaigns, that's one of the steps, critical steps on building out your online lead source. So 146%, 142%. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was the other thing we noticed within our office specifically? Because we had over 30 of our agents in Bold Pivot in May. What happened in June?
We broke 11 records instead of just the normal 9.
Could you say that again? 'Cause I thought that's-
We broke our own records, so it had been typical, like during COVID, pre-COVID, to break 9 of, what is it, how many metrics? 13 of them, I think.
Right.
And we broke 11 of them in June, when 90 days ago, everything was in lockdown, and it's like, is anybody working? And obviously, y'all were working, and y'all were calling people and doing care calls and doing all the things that you needed to do. And the commissions that got paid out broke records. The number of listings broke records. The number of buyers served broke records. Just over 24,400 some odd families in the entire state of Colorado through Keller Williams were served in the month of June. Record breaking.
In the middle of COVID, in the middle of all
Another
this
shutdown.
craziness going on. Jamie G, is that normal? No, because you see brokerages all over the city, right? So that's not a normal thing? Not every office out there is breaking 11 records in the month of June in COVID?
Well, and I would even challenge that number is wrong. That it actually served more families than 24,400 and some odd.
34.
Because they only looked at the consumer side of it. So how many agents' families did that affect? How many title company closers did that affect? How many lenders? How many inspectors? How many people that are all involved in that transaction? That number is probably a lot bigger than what they put down. And we forget how many lives we affect every single day with a single phone call.
So Debbie, and my question for everyone, how many families do you think are impacted in one sale? One sale. One sale, gang. How many families do you think are impacted in one sale?
I can think of 5 off the top of my head, but probably more than that.
Probably 10.
10. We got 5, we got 10.
Depends if they had 7 kids like I did too, so
Yeah.
that increases the number.
Jamie, what do you,
Like 7 or 8.
7 or 8? Jamie G? You know I'm gonna bring you in here.
Airline.
The average, grab something, the average is 23 families per transaction.
Yeah.
Take 23 and times it by 24,434 and there's your number. That's why we do what we do. That's also why we're pouring in with all these different coaching opportunities, free classes, Bold Pivot, Dave Jenks. That is why we're breaking records. It's a bigger purpose than just selling a home or a property.
So politically, let's get rid of home ownership like some want to do.
Yeah.
It's
No.
affecting 23 families.
23 families on average per transaction.
That's
Let
just
that
one
sink
side.
in.
That's just one side. Too.
That's
So the other thing too, to get better, we did a listing contract class this morning. We're doing a purchase contract class tomorrow morning from 9 until noon. And then on Friday, we're doing a CMA class. So anybody that wants to jump in and come in, share what they do with CMAs, or you just want to get better at it with everybody else and hear what other people are doing, we're doing it that on Friday. I'll have Amber put Rick, do you remember what time that was on Friday? In the morning, right?
Yeah.
8:30.
8:30 to noon, I think. Check the email. We'll put it out on the email again. But you're all welcome to come,
jump on in, the water's warm.
right? You want to get better?
You only master the presentation, right? We were talking about that earlier. All right, with that, do we have anything else, housekeeping items?
No.
And we are right on time. So want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm not talking to an empty room. And thank you online for being there. Jump in, lean in. This is the time, I promise you, this is absolutely the time where you lean in. Don't push back. Coaching opportunities, all kinds of opportunities. Josh, let's get her licensed, ready to go. We got a couple years, but let's do it. And you all have, yes.
The question says, can we post who all is taking votes and we can pick some accountability partner teams.
I love that. Who said that?
Kristen.
Kristen, love it. That's awesome.
And Chris is asking, is anybody doing open houses and how do we feel about it? I don't feel good about it, honestly. I'll be open. I've been looking at properties for myself and with clients, and you know, when you walk in that door, it kind of feels scary already. So it's like, I just don't think people are going to be ready to open their home up to, and I don't know what the rules are, so I have to follow that. But honestly, I just don't think people are ready to open up their homes to the world right now. Yeah.
So then that
But with a
could be,
hazmat suit and a respirator.
Well, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
right. Well, that could be an opportunity, right?
Right,
Couldn't that be an opportunity to master a virtual open house?
right,
And
right.
how to do this
I mean,
virtually,
there are
right?
other ways to get that job done, and, you know, we're trying to do as much with the 3D tours and all those kinds of things,
Right.
but, I know, my clients are not real excited about having, you know, a lot of people in the house.
That's important to have those conversations.
Right.
So have the fierce
And
conversation,
it's okay.
and it's okay.
Right, it's okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, you all have a fantastic week. Take care. We'll see you next week. Thank you, guys. Great job.
Thanks, Pat.